You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Scouted. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Scouted news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Scouted.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the very exciting premiere of Scouted, a new model show finally out for us model fans out there, and of course, it's been constantly compared with America's Next Top Model, being the other reigning champion model show that I also host. And so we're going to break it down. Totally initial thoughts. It's a totally different show. I love them both, and I'm loving what Scouted brings to the table. By the way, I'm Jackie Miranne, a former Project Runway model and model in New York City for many years, so I have plenty to compare to for this show, Scouted, and I just, as a former model, let me just say right off the bat that I am loving it because it's such a great portrayal of so many things that happen in the industry. And I can't wait to hear what my co-hosts think. And they are holding it down in L.A. for me while I call in from New York. Welcome, Kendra Kabasele, reporter and journalist, is joining me to the left. You're watching on Ustream. Hey, Kendra.
Hey.
Sorry. And to the right, Gabby Loren. I believe am I saying that correct?
You got it.
Okay, another journalist, host, all that good stuff, right? You're in the entertainment industry, so
yes,
you know
I
this
am.
stuff.
I do all of it, and I work at E! Entertainment in production during the weekday. That's where I just came from, actually. I just ran in the room.
Oh my gosh, Gabby, so you are an insider because
I am
this
an
is, of course,
insider.
on no other network but the fabulous E!
Yes.
So, oh my God, well, there you go. Exclusive insider info. We're going to get it out of you, Gabby. And so excited to chat about it. And because this is a model show, DJ Jesse Janity, I'm a little upset you did not intro us with some hot model beats. But
I didn't know if this was that type of a model show.
What do you mean
Oh,
that
okay.
type? First of all,
America's Next Top Model is like boom, boom. You just get that beat. So I gotta watch it first, and I gotta feel what type of music I'm gonna bring to Scouted.
Okay, we'll see.
All right. Kendra and Gabby, though, wouldn't you love some hot model beats? I mean, come on.
I would, and I love
All right,
beats
so-
in general.
So
Yeah, it's only
I might
appropriate.
just have to hit you up with something after the break then.
Okay, great. Well, I opened the show, ladies, by saying that it was, when this show was announced, it was immediately compared with America's Next Top Model. And being the host of that after show here on AFTERBUZZ TV, being a former model, the first thing I have to say is there is no comparison. These shows are two entirely different shows, other than the fact that they're based on the premise of the modeling industry, which is a very all-consuming statement right there. There's really nothing alike about them, and that's what I love about Scouted. For everything I love about America's Next Top Model, there's different things to love about Scouted. So some initial thoughts, let's start with Kendra. What did you think, just initially, of the idea of this show and sort of starting at the development process with discovering these new talents and potential models?
Well, initially, I think the idea was something that it sparked my interest. I think I briefly told you and Gabby the reasons for that. I think there's always, when someone has interest in something, it's because you have a personal connection to it. And it's something, you know, I didn't really mention to anyone until I told you guys that today, that I was actually scouted as a teenage girl in New York back in the day. I won't give my age.
So you were in New York when you were scouted?
Yeah. And
Wow.
it's funny because I must have repressed it because, you know, when the show came out, I remembered it and I was talking to my mom about it. And it was just like, you know, a drop in the bucket of life. But it was, you know, it was an experience that I remember. I was there. My parents were divorced, so that's why I was in New York visiting my mom. And this woman came up to me and said, you know, "Oh, you have such a cute face." I remember, you know, the words she said. I'm not trying to say it in a vain way. I'm just
No, we
explaining the
totally
story.
get it. Don't worry about it.
And, you know, and I was a teenage, you know, a young teen. And she gave me her card, spoke to my mom, and we ended up going to check it out. And, you know, needless to say, I didn't take that route. I'm not, you know, a model today, but it was something that, it was, you know, it was a compliment, and I think at the time I was excited about it. But watching the show, I can see that there's definitely a line drawn where you have to have that passion, you have to live, breathe, sleep, everything, you know, model world. And I think that's what was interesting for me to see, you know, what happens after that step.
Right. And do you really know when, like, how do you know, at what age do you know that this is something you want to do? Maybe, Jackie, you could answer that since that's something you chose to do.
Well, the interesting thing about this process, as we saw it with Gillian, who's the first story, you know, each show, just to give a little run of show, each show is going to feature two girls that either get, you know, by the end we see if they get signed or they don't after being scouted. But it's all about this scouting process, which just by your story, Kendra, shows us that this really is how it happens. I mean, especially for girls, you know, being in New York, I'm surprised that you said you were in New York when you got scouted, because when you're in New York, it's right here, it's in front of your face. But when you're in Nebraska or, you know, Arkansas or somewhere, they can't just walk into a New York agency. So that's where these scouters really come into play, is for the girls all across the country. But what I thought was interesting, you said, at what age do you know, Gabby? Like this first girl, Gillian, she was 15. And so it leads me to this question that the CFDA keeps raising, the fact that 15-year-old models walk down the runways and stuff. What do you guys think of a 15-year-old being scouted? Not her choice, but it wasn't her choice to walk into a modeling agency. She got pulled off the street. Just, it raised a question for me. Do you ladies think that that's a little bit young to be sort of plucked out of your high school life? You know, we saw her mother. I'm kind of just jumping right into Gillian here, but we saw her mother sort of have reservations about it. What do you think, Gabby?
I mean, I definitely think it's young, but I do think that if it's something you want to do and you know at that age you want to do it and you're not being forced, then it's something you should go for. And I think that the people that are working with you in that industry should maybe provide you with the services to, I don't know, speak to somebody if you feel like you're being under too much pressure, or, you know, just the daily pressures of what a model has to undergo and what you may see being in that industry at that age, just so that it doesn't scar you. Because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes down, whether it's the entertainment industry, the modeling industry, the acting, you know, everything.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a good support group. And I think if you're a mature 15-year-old like Gillian, she seems very mature, and I could totally vouch for her on that just by her life experience, then I think it's okay as long as you're surrounded by people that support you.
I don't know, Kendra, what do you think? I mean, I think it's a tough one because I think it's a case-by-case basis, and you said it, Gabby. These are hard industries, and what I will say that happens after this lovely little cloud of being scouted and getting excited and going for a pedicure to celebrate is the reality of the modeling industry. And unfortunately, people don't necessarily hold your hand through it. And so I just have seen it live. I've seen it happen with so many girls where you don't get the proper guidance, and there's just too many girls that want to be in the industry. There's just no way to really properly foster these girls. But, you know, this is kind of like the honeymoon period, the scouting period, where it's, as Gillian said, it can only go up from here. You know, so what I like about it is that they're kind of capturing it at that Cinderella story moment, where if it's ever a Cinderella story, it's this little transformation in the beginning called development, where, you know, if you are going to blossom, it's here. And what happens after that, well, then that's what America's Next Top Model's for. But I do like that they're zeroing in on this beginning process of the modeling industry. But Kendra, I wanted to get your thoughts on the age range, like Gillian being 15. What do you think about that?
I agree with you that I think it's a case-by-case situation. I think it depends on the individual girl. As we saw, Gillian has a head on her shoulders. Her parents are very involved in her life. I think, you know, it's kind of similar to Tyra Banks. She had her mother there the whole way, and I think she's still grounded today. And then you had Jennifer. And I think she had the same passion, but I think she may have had a little bit of the, you know, fantasy of modeling in her mind versus the, you know, the actual drive to kind of do what it takes to get to the top. And I'm, you know, I'm not taking away from her. I think that's just what the scouts were kind of looking at each girl.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer and her momager. I can't even wait to get into that.
Exactly.
But let's stick with Gillian for a second, because I started bringing her up as I'm so excited to talk about her. Because Gillian, I don't know if this was by happenstance or they planned it this way, but Gillian is like the perfect example of that Cinderella story, because I know for a fact that she already has shot Abercrombie and Fitch since this aired.
Oh, wow.
From a source I saw online. So let's talk about the good story first, which is Gillian. And, you know, Gabby, you said you can relate to her. What I loved is they turned it into a human interest story. Mm-hmm. I do have to call it out that in the reality of the modeling industry, I don't know if this human interest story would have come up, but they chose to do it on the show, and I love them for that. They brought up her dad, who seemed to be her hugest supporter, and the way he talked about his cancer and how every day is a gift now and you have to go for it, and he was so supportive. It just made me want to cry the whole time. I just loved this. I loved watching him, you know, be such a supportive dad, and she seems like such a cute, nice girl that you want someone like her to do well. But Gabby, I know you said you could relate to her. Why is that?
Well, basically, when I saw this episode, I found a lot of things in common between me and Gillian. She's a strong girl, and the fact that her father has been sick since, I think she said 4th grade.
Or she
right?
was 4,
Did she mention?
I think she was 4 years old.
Oh, okay, might have been. I don't know. But since she's, you know, very young, and to deal with having a sick parent that you never know if something is going to happen to them, they may pass away, it's very hard and hard to comprehend at that age. And I think it kind of forces you to grow up. And for me, I had a father that was ill, and he passed away when I was 14. And it was a time in my life where it made me, you know, some people could either take the experience for the better or for the worse, but it really helped me to grow as a person and become such a strong woman. And I just have a maturity and a courage and a motivation that not many kids have. And I could see it in her. I can see that her parents give it to her, and because of what she's exposed to, she's a strong girl, and I think she's going to be really successful at what she does because of it.
Well, just the fact that you shared that story with us, I mean, that's what's so great about bringing out a story like this on a show, is look at how you can relate to her. I mean, first of all, you're such an amazing girl just by hearing that story. I did not know that.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. But that's what I think was so great about hearing this story. You know, she's really young, but you're right. It just shows through that she's a strong girl. And that's why it is a case-by-case basis, because I do think she seems like a little bit smarter and tougher than somebody else who might be her age, you know. That's why it gets so tough to decipher, like, what's a good age, what's not. You know, it's really that, like, this is a girl who maybe is ready. And, maybe she starts modeling in the summers right now, but, to hear her story and to see her just sort of the love she has with her dad and her dad supporting her, oh my God, I love that about her. It just makes you want her to succeed. Kendra, what did you think?
I definitely was drawn to Gillian when, the first moment we were introduced to her. And I think that's part of her it factor and what the scouts saw in her. And I think it's more than just her look. I think she has some depth to her, and I think that's, a testament to what her family has instilled in her. So, yeah, I definitely was drawn to her as well.
Yeah, I think, you can see it, like I said before, that this girl has it all. And I think besides the fact that she was great in her test shoot and she did so well, you can see it in her personality, the way she treats her parents. Mm-hmm. You can also tell the type of parents that she has. Mm-hmm. They lead a good example for her. And I just think that she, regardless of the support system in the modeling industry, I think her family is a very strong support system for her. So she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, Gabby. And, I do think she's too young, but at the same time,
it came out finally.
Having said that, yeah.
But the thing is I think she has the potential, and so, she has been through enough to be able to sort of start, and I think the good solution, which we saw, is that she starts sort of with the summers and stuff, but let's not deny when she stepped on that stage after hair and makeup on that photo shoot, oh my God, she could have been 25, like a Calvin Klein model, whatever. She just was amazing the second she hit that camera. And, we heard them say this, you either have it in front of the camera or you don't. Mm-hmm. She totally had it. What did you guys think of her once she did hair and makeup? And I thought she looked amazing.
I thought she was amazing before hair and makeup. I fell in love with her in the first 5 minutes of the show. Yeah. She is great, and she has such a natural beauty to her. Her face, her eyes are beautiful, and her smile, she lights up a room. Mm-hmm. You can totally tell, and those types of people do great in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. She has a presence, and then obviously with all the makeup, she was able to transform into something else, and that's what they were talking about in the show, the versatility, and she has that.
Yeah, she was stunning when she came out of hair and makeup, but she was stunning before that. So
right, she literally lights up a room. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I'm really happy for her. I really hope she does well. And of course, Scott Lips at One Management, who, by the way, they truly are one of the top agencies. I mean, this is not for TV. They are it when it comes to modeling. Maybe with a handful of 5 other agencies, you are it if you sign with one. So for him, Scott Lips, to tell her, and sign her, that is, seriously the Cinderella story coming to life. I mean, you can't get any better. There are a lot of in-between steps here with the Michael Flutie, the scouting agency, and then there's also the Model Scout in Texas, Paige Parks. There are a lot of in-betweeners here. But I think what's good about having the girls all come to this scouting agency, which normally you kind of come and it's all one thing. But I think for viewers, it just makes it cleaner and easier to sort of see the process this way. But normally what the scouting agency is doing, you kind of run all over the city and do these things at different photographers in different places. But I like it for TV that it's all kind of in one place, and we have Danny Stahl, who's the image consultant, and Barry, who's the model mentor, and Julia, who I think is going to be a big character. I kind of like all these players here. But what I can agree with is, but it's such a sad truth in the industry, how Michael was saying she needs to shed her baby weight, and she's too, I don't think he called her fat, but just that she was hard to fit. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, does that make anyone else sad? I mean, it's true though. The sad thing is it's the truth. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
But that makes me sad.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it's an industry like that. And I noticed in the shots, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's what I saw just in the pilot during that first episode. When he mentioned that, they showed her in the photo shoot and she was wearing a tank top and you could see some of her midriff. And I just hate how they portray it like that. But I mean, she is a tiny girl. I mean, you can always tone up. It's great to tone up. And I guess he said it in the nicest way he could have said it, because he could have said, "Don't eat." You know what I mean? Yeah. But I agree. It's sad. I also hate the whole height restriction thing because I'm a shorty and I wish I could do bigger things. Unfortunately, I can only do commercial product type stuff, but I wish that there was another, outlet for people and it didn't have to be all one way in this industry,
Yeah, Kendra, what do you think?
It's funny because I must have forgotten that I was watching a modeling show, because as I was watching it, I was actually shocked that those words came out of his mouth. I was, I thought she was fine. I didn't think, baby weight, like I didn't even notice that. So, it is sad that it's still kind of an issue. I don't know if you can speak to that, but especially in 2011 with the issues people have with Photoshop, et cetera, I would think that, it's a non-issue. I don't know.
Well, being in the industry is a sad truth. And Gabby, you said you do some commercial work too, so you know this. The sad truth is the sample sizes. I mean, there's been plenty of requests to make these sample sizes bigger, but there are sample sizes, and that's where fit comes into play, because you only have 0s and 2s, and it used to be 4s and 6s. It's really like 0, 2, 4. So that's kind of where it comes into play. But what I like about it is, regardless of what they said, they ended up signing her. So that makes me happy.
That is a great point.
But is it a question? Right. Is it a question of sign here and then we're going to tell you what to do with your weight, or?
Well, I mean, they're going to manage her, but at the same time, she won.
Yeah. Well, then taking it a step further, Gabby, you said, I like how they didn't say don't eat. Well, I've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Oh no, but at least in the pilot before they signed her, they didn't say it. I'm just glad for that.
That was on the cutting room
Somebody's
floor.
Somebody's going to say it, though. I can guarantee that.
Oh, I am sure. And
already said it.
Exactly. And if it's not televised, they're saying it anyways, I'm sure.
Right. Well, so regardless, let's be happy. They signed her, baby weight and all. Yay for Gillian, because I think she's so sweet and cute. And, not your typical, like, there's definitely unique features about her, and that's why I love her, and a great story. But they signed her over Jennifer, who had the 22-inch waist, which when I heard that, I was like, oh, my God. That is like a very slim waist measurement. Yeah. The standard is 24, so just picture a 22. Mm-hmm. And she didn't even look uber thin to me when I was watching it. But Jennifer, come on, let's talk about Jennifer, or should we just go right to, is it Chanel, I believe, was her mother?
Her momager. I mean,
so poor Jennifer. Well, we know that she did not get signed, but let's talk about her journey. What were your initial thoughts of her and her momager?
Well, I will tell you that when I had first seen Jennifer on the show, I wasn't a fan because, first of all, 101 for me, I feel when I go into a job interview, a casting, regardless of what it is, be prepared and be professional. The only reason why I was 5 minutes late today to AFTERBUZZ Studios is because I'm coming from another job. I'm constantly running, so it's not like in LA I have an excuse, there's traffic. But in general, like, I am always on time. When I was living in New York, because that's where I'm from, I would always be on time. Anywhere I had to be.
Even if you rushed in here late, you have your book.
I have my notes. Like, I came from work. I have everything going on right now. But, I mean, it's just the principle that you want to be professional and you want to be seen professional. And the carelessness just, like, boggles my mind, especially in Hollywood. It happens all the time. I see people at castings with no headshots. The resume is not stapled. And you know that the casting director wants that. I'm like, if I hear one more person say that they don't have their headshot, it's going to be the end of me, So I wasn't a fan in the initial stages.
Gabby, I'm so glad you called that out because I was so excited to get to the momager and her breakdown, but that is even more mind-boggling. You're right. Like, I wrote it in my notes as, that's like walking out the door naked to me. The first thing I ever learned, like somebody might as well have stamped it on my head, is cards, book, heels, and, extras being lip gloss and a bathing suit in the bag at all times. But
right.
Your essentials, cards, book, pair of heels as a model. Like, if you don't have those things, you're naked. And, I guess people might like you naked, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just...
That's a different casting.
Kendra, I'm sure you agree, this is any industry. You have to be prepared.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, her mother was just saying that she's always professional and, speaking for her daughter. And yeah, that was a little disappointing because, there's something about Jennifer that's unique. And I do, I can appreciate her appearance. I love the gap in her teeth. Mm-hmm. And so to have her kind of walking in there without her book, like, it just seemed a little sloppy. So yeah, I was disappointed in Jennifer. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jennifer.
But I do have to say, though, she kind of won me over towards the end. I appreciated the fact that she came from a homeless family and she, rise above it. And then also the fact that when she went into she totally did her job. She went to New York, did what she had to do, and she took notes once her mother left the room. And you know what? I thought she did great after she listened to what they wanted. In the beginning, not so much. But then you saw her naturalness come out. I think it was because better. Her mom left the room. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that was kind of, like they said, symbolic of, their relationship and I guess how she felt at the time. In terms of... Well, yeah, her mom is... I can't stand momagers. I'm sorry. I hate it. It's so, meddling. Let the kid do what they want to do. But, be the parent, not the manager. Right. And that's what I think she came to realize towards the end. So props to her. Kudos. Yes. High five.
Yeah, because you know what the funny thing is about Jennifer is the book thing threw me for such a loop, but then she gave some really good answers. And she was very kind and constantly saying, I'm thankful, thank you for the criticism, I'm so happy to be here. Her homeless story, she got emotional in the office. So it's weird because you wanted to not like her at first, but I think it was kind of the book thing through you and then the mom just totally getting in the way. Mm-hmm. But once the mom got out of the way, if you really look at Jennifer, she was kind of likable towards the end, so it made you feel a little bit bad, but let's just call it like it is. Her mother totally cost her, totally cost her in this whole thing.
Yeah, and you know what? And I totally agree with where you're going with this because it's the momager that gets in the way, and you totally said it yourself. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for the momager, she may or may not have been signed. She may or may not have been signed. Mm-hmm. It's up in the air, but... I think I heard a story actually this year that Taylor Lautner, I think his mom or dad was his manager, and he was pissing off the PR because they were getting too involved, and they quit on him, and it was one of the best PRs in Hollywood. And it just goes to show, you need to step back when it's not your place.
Yeah, Kendra, what do you think?
Well, I have to say, Jennifer, I wouldn't say she wasn't likable in the beginning, but I think there was kind of that pressure coming from her mother. And I think there's a way to be a momager and still kind of see your child thrive. Maybe they wouldn't use the term momager. Maybe it would just be mother.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
But, and I think we've seen it in Hollywood and certain momagers work and others don't. But I think the child also has to kind of draw a line. If they had a talk before she went in, maybe it would have been a different outcome. We're going to be in this together, but can you stand to the side? That sort of thing.
Right. But it does change your opinion of her because I had bad feelings about her in the beginning, not only from the book, but because of her mom. Her mom left just an uneasiness with me. Yeah. Just her appearance, her persona, everything.
Yeah, everything. And what's so funny is even before the photo shoot, trust me, guys, because I've seen this with the moms standing in the agencies, like in front of the daughters. It is like the number one thing that agents and management agencies hate. So you're like going in there with like a cement block on your back, basically. And I have a feeling her fate was already sealed the second she named herself as manager of Jennifer, when they were sitting down with Michael Flutie, because you even heard him say, if she gets signed, Scott Lips is making all the decisions. And trust me, that conversation, I bet you right then and there her fate was sealed, which is so sad, because what did happen is she did thrive the second the mother walked out the door, and that was her moment. She broke through, and it's almost like too little too late kind of thing, because the mom was just such a turnoff, I'm sure.
Right.
Well,
and you know, you're joining, sorry, Kendra,
Okay.
you're joining a management. It's called One Management. They will be managing you, not
Right.
mom management.
Right. Well, I was going to say it's interesting that they actually, did that contrast of choosing Gillian versus Jennifer as the top two, because Gillian's family was, they were there, they were present, but then her father even said, you're independent, you're strong. He believed in her, but I think they gave her that kind of that space to.
That's why I like her. That's why she's my favorite, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my favorite. And I think the funniest thing, can I just call it out, guys? Did you notice how her mom, Jennifer's mom, when they were getting pedicures, she was like, I may have to leave you here. I can't hold your hand.
You're right.
Jennifer was probably like, thank God.
Yeah. You could see it in her eyes. She was like,
oh my goodness.
when are you going to go?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so we know how it goes. Jennifer, unfortunately, Scott Lips, when he told her he wasn't signing her, if I could tell you how many times I heard that before I got signed to an agency, he really is right. I mean, it kind of sounds like a concession speech or whatever, like, oh, keep trying. But the truth of the matter is, if Jennifer really wants it, she will keep trying. Just because one agency says no, the agency I ended up working with had said no to me in the past. So, it's a good lesson in what Scott said. It is true. You just kind of keep going. Just because he said no doesn't mean everybody else is going to.
Right.
And, it's like finding a place for yourself. So you can't feel too bad for her at this point. I'm sure she can still find someone out there. She does have a lot of, good qualities about her. So
but
I'm just so happy for Gillian.
If you notice at the ending credits, they mentioned that Jennifer is no longer working with the Scout. So I wonder if modeling is in her future.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird because they did say that, and you think she has this drive, but maybe it's the mom, maybe it's, like the momentary lapses with the book, but you can't have too much room for error in this industry, that's for sure. So, yeah, she doesn't seem like she's doing too much right now, but if she wants it, she'll go for it. But to sort of sum up this premiere episode, which I totally loved the premise, and watching these two stories play out, is I'm just so happy for Gillian, and I can't wait to see who we have next week. But what did you guys overall? Any last thoughts on this premiere episode?
I actually wonder, because I never dealt with Scouts really, and I just wonder what they get out of the process. What are they getting out of the process?
Oh, I could tell you, 10%, 20%.
So, no, are they getting 20% of your contract with the management or agency that you're signing with? Is that what that entails?
Yeah, see, here's the thing that what girls watching this show might not know is there's positives and negatives to being scouted by, like, these mother agencies. That's what they call them, mother agencies, like the Kristen in San Francisco or Paige Parks in Texas. Not only do you have to give something to this mother agency, but if it was set up, there's this extra middleman of Michael Flutie and the scouting office, that's another percentage. Normally there's even just the 1% of the mother agency. This is like double. So I wonder what happens to these girls if they do get signed, like a Gillian. And then there's the one management percentage. So you are losing quite a bit to all of these scouts. So that's something to keep in mind if you can go directly to the agencies, just for any aspiring models out there. The less middlemen, the better. But for TV's sake, of course, it's great to watch all of these scouts sort of mold these girls, but not so great once you start seeing the paychecks and the percentages go out.
So the scout gets a percentage of each job you book, or they just get a percentage of the contract you sign?
Well, typically models, when they sign with an agency, they don't get a numeric
Yeah,
amount
so they're
for
not,
signing.
okay, so they're not signing for an amount, pretty much.
Right. It's just like signing for representation. Unless you're a huge model, I have heard that some, each case may be different when you reach a higher level, but initial models, it's just like a representation agreement, and you just get paid per job. You lose the percentages per job.
Right.
So it's
so
pretty
that
tough.
scout is with you for life then, or at least for the time being.
For the length of the contracts, usually, yes. So
That they got you
contracts
with,
are
okay.
usually like 1 to 2 years, and so it's definitely something girls have to think about. Like if you're stuck in the middle of Alabama and you have no choice, and there's a Paige Parks by you, obviously you can see she does have a record, but you are taking a risk, and you are already signing away some of your income. So it's just something to think about as far as weighing all your options,
And do the scouts fly you out, or does the management fly you out, or is that entirely on your own expense?
Well, that was an interesting thing to see, because it looked like they all got put up in these nice hotels and,
Yes.
got the treatment, which is probably what's nice about doing it through the TV show.
Yes.
And same goes for America's Next Top Model. But in the reality of it, all of it comes out of your paycheck. If you stay in a model's apartment, it comes out of a paycheck. You just have to think about all these things that come out of your paycheck. It ends up being a lot, that's for sure. That's why it's so hard for models to get past the square one, because you rack up so many expenses in the reality of the industry, unfortunately. I don't mean to put a damper on it, but that is the reality.
No, this is actually really educational for anybody out there, wherever you are, whether it's this country or outside of the country and you're interested in modeling. It's good information. It is.
Absolutely, and that's why we're here. The Scouted hosts for AfterBuzz, we're here to bring even more to the show. So, we're going to be here week to week, and I love having you ladies with me. And I have some great news and gossip, and of course we have to make some predictions. So let's take a quick commercial, and we'll be right back, hopefully with some beats.
Yes, Jesse.
AFTERBUZZ TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV. AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I love this song.
Yes.
90s.
Where's the runway?
Yeah, this is so like Vogue. This is like Vogue.
Oh
This
my
is
God,
what you guys
Jesse,
wanted. You
I
wanted
love it.
some runway music, I figure.
That's right. Now, I don't know if you're dancing in the studio, but oh, yes, there you go. Work it, girls.
Oh, you can see us, right?
I love it. All right, well, I'll be there next week to dance it up with you guys. Don't you worry.
Oh, really? You're going to be in LA?
Yes, I'll be here. I'll be live next week, everyone, in the studio, so
Oh,
I
wow,
can't
that's
wait to
exciting.
see you live.
That'll be good. And Kristen will be with us next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We'll have a ton
And
of
Mari,
fun.
yeah.
And more questions to be answered. So anybody who's interested in Scouted, interested in modeling, we have all the answers. So you better call us week to week, 424-256-1729. We want to hear you. And let's get into some news and gossip, because with fashion comes cattiness, of course. So on that note, let's get into it.
All right, so I'm going to let you do your news over some hot model beats, Miss Miranne.
Thank you, Jesse. I love to know I have some pull around here. So get this, guys. Scouted is already getting so much buzz. They got amazing reviews from the New York Post and the New York Times, but they're also with lovers come haters, and surprisingly, one kind of hater is Anya Rubik, who's a huge supermodel, and she spoke out, literally brought the claws out on Twitter, saying that she thinks the Scouted advertisement, if you see it up there with the red dress, if you're watching on Ustream, she thinks that it was a direct and, in her words, shameless copy of her highly successful and uber glam advert for Elie Saab's fragrance Le Parfum, which debuted in May earlier this year. It featured her posing on a busy street in a billowing gown. Yes, it looks exactly like that. And it basically, she's saying it was very accurately replicated. And here's my thing on this. Okay, so they may have based it on that or used it as some inspiration, but do you think she should be flattered or, kind of annoyed by this? I think she should be flattered, because they're a huge, it's not like it's going to hurt her advertisement or anything, and if somebody models themselves after you, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with her on this. What do you guys think?
I'd have to see. I don't think I know which ad it is. Jesse, do we have it?
No, it's right. It's up here. Oh, you mean the original ad?
Yeah, the original ad.
Oh, I saw the original ad, actually. I looked it up earlier, and
Okay, look it up.
I definitely think the original is 20 million times better than this. I hate to say it. This model doesn't look as seasoned, I guess I would say, as she is. The other ad spoke out more to me, and yes, I think there was inspiration and a little bit of copying, but I don't think it does any harm. It's not like it's overshadowing the other one or something. I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I should have, maybe we'll get that out to you so you can see it, but you can clearly, when you come across it, she's basically, the only difference is she's in a beige dress, but I think you called it out perfectly, Gabby, is that if yours is better, and you're a huge supermodel, what do you care? I mean, I'm surprised that she would take to Twitter. Oh, Kendra, did you pull it up on your iPad?
I did.
Just hold it straight up.
On the AFTERBUZZ iPad.
No, hold it to this camera.
See that?
Can you guys see it?
I love how instantaneous we are here at AfterBuzz.
We are on it.
Okay, I want to say something, girls, though.
Go ahead, Jesse.
In fashion, knowing the designing part of it, modeling part of it. I mean, we could say that, what is it, Vogue this month with Lady Gaga copied this picture. I mean, she has the big red flowing dress that looks similar. Yeah, she has a hat on it. And even with designers, they take something that has already been done and add 3 dots on it and call it their own. It's fashion, and it's already been done probably before this was done.
Do you know when this ad is from? What year this ad is from?
It was, I believe, just last May, they said. So
wow, so it was actually pretty recent. I don't think I would have copied, if I was the graphic designers on this, I would not have copied something that recent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
It does look
cool,
pretty similar.
but yeah, it's very similar. The dress and everything, the entire thing, the look, where she is, the buildings in the back. I mean,
but
I wouldn't be jealous. I would think it's flattering if I was her, and I wouldn't reach out to Twitter to send out hate mail. These are just upcoming models that want to be somebody. It's not that serious.
Yeah, it's more of I agree. It's more of a compliment than, a dig or, I think it's
fun. I totally agree. I mean, I think it's different if somebody uses it in the wrong way or something, but everybody at this stage, with so much going on, so many players in the industry, it just happens. And I think like Jesse said, it's like Lady Gaga imitating somebody. It's flattery to me. So I'm not so cool with her taking to Twitter on this, but you know, to each their own. I don't know. I guess it rubbed her the wrong way, but
it'll get her some
I
press.
also wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was saying it'll get her some press, and that's probably.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that was her motive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's smart because here we are talking about it.
Exactly.
If she had said, "Oh, that's nice," nobody would have, you know.
Right. So see, she's smarter than we all thought. These supermodels are smarter
Yes.
than we all think.
That's great.
But I also just wanted to share a couple of pieces of some great interviews with Michael Flutie and Danny Stahl, who are going to be two mainstays on Scouted. And I think it's great to get to know them because they're the people we're going to see week to week. The models will change, but they remain the same. And just to give everyone an idea, Michael Flutie has written many books. He has worked in the industry for nearly 3 decades and definitely has that sense when it comes to finding the it factor in girls. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about what went into making this show, and because I just thought it was so interesting. According to a recent interview, he said that he has worked on this show for 4 years. It's the typical Cinderella story, but he had to pound the pavement pitching it to so many people, and everyone said he couldn't do it. He waited 2 years, pitched the pilot again, and finally got the green light. He basically went on to say that he really stuck to it. He said, I wanted it to be real and organic, and now that the premiere is finally here, I kind of can't believe it. I just wanted to share that because it's almost like representative of what the girls have to do in the industry. It's kind of like cute to hear that he had to try so hard to even make this show happen. Mm-hmm. And I really love it, and so I just wanted to share that with everyone, and I think it makes me like him even more.
It is a tough road, let me tell you, and I'm in production, and I've pitched ideas before. Let me tell you, it is not easy, and either people steal your ideas or they don't believe in them, or they believe in them, but they just don't give you a chance. Mm-hmm. So props to him for sticking with it. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all about timing.
And, you know, Gabby, I meant to ask you, since you work at E, what's the buzz going around about Scouted?
Actually, I have to say that I heard about this pilot months ago, and my cousin actually was the first person that brought it up to me. She owns her own agency. Nothing like too crazy, nothing big, but they do well. And she was like, do you know anything about this? And I wouldn't say there's too much buzz right now. I have friends that work on special segments for it, and I work in international. So right now I don't have any news on that side for you, but I might in the coming weeks. So we'll see.
Okay, good to know. Well, I definitely, I know you'll share any scoop you can with us, and it's good to have an insider. And what agency is it that your cousin works at?
It's called City Model and Talent, and it's in New York, but not in the city. It's in Long Island. So
okay, I feel like it sounds familiar because I actually am from New York, and I grew up in Long Island, so I have to look into it.
Really? And then
but
so you might know the agency I'm signed with, too, because the agency I'm with is in New York as well.
Oh, wait, which agency is that?
Or
you don't want to say?
No, it's fine. I'll say it on the air. MMG. They're in
oh, my God.
Do you know them?
See that? We have so much in common. I know them for sure.
That's awesome.
So, very cool, very cool. Well, speaking of, agencies and back to this sort of insider agency gossip, I also wanted to share Michael's opinion since he is an expert, and we probably have many aspiring models listening. He was asked to define the term supermodel, and I just wanted to share his answer because I thought it was a good one. He basically said, supermodel is someone who has used modeling to create mass-level awareness while at the same time maintaining the accolades and respect of the industry. Women like Giselle, Kate Moss, Christy Turlington, Linda Evangelista, Janice Dickinson, Naomi Campbell come to mind. A supermodel can work with iconic photographers, brands, and magazines, and at the same time have the duality of having the masses know who they are. It's a combination of art and commerce with the portfolio to support that status. I think that's just something to remember as we see it so much on Top Model that girls just sort of forget who they, where they are and their place in the industry. And I think basically what he's saying is even these supermodels kind of always remember what the industry and working is about, and not having sort of that diva attitude. So I like that. I liked hearing that from him because the supermodel has kind of lost its edge as far as that term goes over time,
Definitely. Would we say that the Victoria's Secret supermodels have that divaness, or are they pretty normal and nice, maybe, if that's possible?
Well, I think, the thing about supermodels of today, like the Victoria's Secret models even, I mean, can you really name their names and feel like you know their personalities like the same way that when Tyra and Heidi and all of them were the supermodels? I don't know. I feel like what he's saying is there's kind of like that. He actually went on to say that there's been a lack of supermodels currently, and he predicts a resurgence in the coming 2 or 3 years. And I kind of get what he's saying there because there's not that many huge supermodels currently that are like of that Giselle, Tyra, Heidi status, in my opinion.
Well, and I think that's part of today, just because a lot of actresses kind of take over in that realm for magazine covers, commercials. We see a lot more actresses. Everything. Yeah, and I think that was kind of a debate in the the modeling world, rather. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And so I hope he's right. I hope there is a resurgence of like the true Cindy Crawford supermodel. That's always been, I always chime in for that. So I'm totally with him on that.
But I do have to say, going back to what my question was, I don't know I don't know them personally, but I want to make a prediction that those supermodels, Victoria's Secret models specifically, or even like what's her name, Irana Shayk? Is that how you say her? She did Sports Illustrated cover.
Yes.
Well, like she is engaged to Cristiano Ronaldo from Spain on the soccer team, and a bunch of those models are married, have kids, things like that. And I don't hear too much Hollywood gossip about them getting divorces, so I feel like they can't be too diva where they can't even keep husbands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally get that, and I think models do have somewhat of a better work ethic sometimes because you really do get treated that way where you kind of have to have a good work ethic. So even if you're not really hearing about them, maybe that's a good thing, as you kind of said. Maybe it's good we're not hearing too much about them.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, and you know what, Heidi Klum, she is gorgeous and she has such a great personality, and she's been with Seal forever. There are a few supermodels right now that I could name that I think are pretty legitimate people. Although I don't know them, I'm just going to say from my observations.
If keeping a husband is the gauge.
I'll let you have your observations today. About Heidi.
No, I know. Anyway, that's another story. Sorry.
Well, before we go, I just wanted to share, because if we have style advice and all that good stuff, we're going to share it. And Danny Stahl, who is the image consultant on Scouted, did share some of her best style advice that she has ever received. So I wanted to pass it along. She basically said, fashion is about confidence. You will look best if you feel your best. Oh, and never forget that fashion is fun. Fashion is fun, she repeated. So that's some style advice for everyone out there. And I don't know what you guys think of that, but I'll take it. I like her. Do you like Danny?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
I actually wanted to also mention Paige Parks. I thought we should commend her. I think, we were saying the modeling industry kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, but I like how she handled Gillian and her family, and actually, showed some empathy with her father being ill and almost not taking her on because of the father's illness. So she was
very understanding. Yeah. I liked her.
Yeah. That's sometimes what is good about mother agencies is literally the word mother is because sometimes they do give you that little bit more guidance. You will lose more money, but it might be worth it if that's what you need, because if you have a smaller agency that kind of seems more intimate like Paige's, they can pay a little bit more attention to you and really develop you if they're good people. And so she is an example of someone who I think is a good mother agent, and she seems to actually be one of the best out there. So if you're with her, that's definitely a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
Wow,
like
Gillian, she won in every way possible.
Yeah.
Look at
I
her.
know. Gillian,
We have to get her to call in.
we should get her to call in. That's right. We'll tweet her. And definitely, I think she deserved it, though. She seems like a great girl. So happy. And that is all of our news and gossip this week. So let's get into some predictions.
And now,
Love
your
that music.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, well, it seems like they didn't exactly show us who will be in it next week, but there will be 2 girls per week getting scouted, getting developed, and seeing if they get signed or not. But it does seem like we will see some celebrity models, let's call them, like Bar Raffaele and Salida Ebanks, and seems like there will be some drama emerging, and I guess I wanted to get your predictions on who you think will be the drama queen out of the scouting staff, and who's your favorite celebrity that you're looking forward to seeing, or supermodel.
Well, supermodel, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they named all of the ones that will show up, did they?
But who would you like to see?
But I'm a fan of Leah Kabasele, and I'd like to see.
Oh yes, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, and she has that same inner, that beautiful spirit that kind of shines through, just like Gillian. So I think she'd be a good one to have on. And other than that, I'm just kind of still watching the scouts and the casting directors, and so I don't know how to read them yet, but I'm liking Paige so far.
What do you think?
I would say that, well, I know this is so cliche, but I'd really like to see Heidi Klum just because I think she's so awesome and motivating. And I feel like she'd be that good mother mentor figure to the models. Also, I'd like to see an Adriana Lima or something, because I feel like we never really, we hear from her, but she's so in the shadows with her, I feel personality. I don't know. I feel like, she doesn't, they don't really do too much press. And I'd like to see more of who they are and how they can guide these young models. So that would be nice. Yeah. And random prediction, but I could totally see this series going into something completely different in future seasons, where it's now not scouted anymore, but maybe it's just within the agency, or watching these models now that they're, basically they're growing or they've grown. Now we're going to see the real deal.
Like spin-offs from the...
Yeah, spin-offs. I could totally say it.
I can see that too.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a possibility, and I think what might happen is you're going to want to see a Gillian or whoever comes up in the next episodes. You're going to want to see what's going on with them. So that's a good call, actually. You should get a percentage of that, Gabby. But I think that's a great prediction, and I'm looking forward to. I actually know her, and I know she's worked with One Management. I love Iman. I think I just saw her recently at the Lucky Shop event.
Iman too.
Recently, here in LA.
Back in the day in New York.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so I think she's amazing, and I hope to. I think they mentioned her, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna have to get the scoop on that, but maybe we can get some words from Iman on this show. You never know. So certainly excited to see it all play out. And Gabby, I like that idea. Maybe we're already calling for a spinoff here. And just looking forward to having special guests from the show, hopefully on our show, and my amazing co-hosts. I definitely want everyone to know where we can find you guys. Gabby and Kendra, do you have Facebook, Twitter, or Twitter names and websites that you want to share?
All of the above.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
You want to go ahead first?
Sure. So you guys can find me on Facebook.com/Gabrielle. GABRIELLE, Loren, LOREN, like Sophia Loren, the number 1. And my Twitter account is Gabrielle_Loren.
And I can
Great.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kendra.
I can be found. My website is www.kendrakabasele.com. It's KendraKabasele.com. And my Twitter handle is Kendra Kabasele. Same spelling.
Great. Well, we'll definitely be tweeting the show. We want you guys to tweet at us. I'm Jackie Miranne on Twitter. And definitely call in, tweet us with your thoughts week to week. We'll bring you some special guests and some inside scoop on the modeling world. So we'll see you next week for Scouted.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.